What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome back to another Ricky Widmer show. Before I get into today's sports news, first off, if you're returning, thank you for checking out another video here on the channel. If you're new, I hope you like what you're going to see. First off, I have to apologize. Yesterday, there was no video. Wasn't feeling that great Sunday night, like late Sunday night. Nothing super serious, just felt a little under the weather and took Monday to rest it off. So I'm rested, ready to get back into a new week. Remember, as always, if you like what you see here, hit that like button down below. If you love what you see, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to keep notified on everything I'm doing here at MVP, hit that or ring that bell, as Jake and the Sixers would say. Ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell down below, ring the bell. But we got a jam-packed show today, and the first thing I have to talk about today, a little sad news, is over the weekend, it seems that Mike Leach, head coach, some of you may know him as the head coach of the Mississippi State Bulldogs, where he was at recently, but I remember him fondly, also with the Texas Tech Raiders, and I believe he was at Washington. I believe he went Texas Tech, Washington State, and then Mississippi State. I think there was a stint in the Pac-12 at Washington State before it was at Mississippi State. But I remember him with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Sad news on Monday as Mike Leach has passed away at the age of 61. All we had was personal issues, was why he had to be airlifted to a hospital on Sunday. Then we got more news that, hey, he's been unresponsive and sadly passed away on Monday. And this is something where, first off, T's and P's and everything to the Michigan State family as well as the Leach family. This is never a story that you want to talk about or want to break, especially somebody who, 61, still got a good portion of your life ahead of you in most cases. But this is always, and this is kind of how I'm going to treat all of these, is I know we had this last week, but take this as another reminder. If you hadn't the last time, go ahead. Tell your loved ones that you love them. Love them, that you love them, you care about them, you're here for you, you appreciate them. If you're there with them, give them a big old hug to show them how much they mean to you, because really this is just a lesson and we don't know when our last day is going to be. So, of course, Leach family, Michigan State family in our thoughts and prayers, but also take this as a chance to tell your loved ones again how much you really love and care about them. All right, now let's move into our first in-depth story of the day. It comes from the world of football, the professional side, as the Dallas Cowboys have signed T.Y., as me and Dave used to say, T.Y. Hilton has signed with the Dallas Cowboys. We knew the Cowboys were in the market for some wide receiver help right now. Pretty much the two big targets are Noah Brown and you got CeeDee Lamb. Almost said Amari Cooper, but he's in Cleveland. But CeeDee Lamb is out there. They've been looking for wide receiver help. They were in the OBJ market, but it seems like the news we talked about last week, where it was, hey, they were concerned with OBJ's injury and when he would be healthy, seems to have. Now, I know Jerry Jones said this. Jerry Jones said a comment where it's like, oh, the door isn't shut on OBJ. However, right now, I think that door, it's not slammed shut. If they make a Super Bowl and he's available and they can sign him for the Super Bowl, that door will open. But right now, that door is closed, as T.Y. Hilton is the addition that they make. And I wanted to spend most of this, and I feel bad for this, but T.Y. is going to, yes, he hasn't played since I think it was the January 9th game of last year was his last game that he's played in, hasn't played this season, but you hope that he's been conditioning, kind of been like, hey, a team will sign me at one point. I think he'll be fine for the Cowboys. Nothing too extravagant. The part of this that I want to focus on, and I feel bad because the thing is about T.Y. Hilton, but about OBJ. What does this mean for Odell Beckham Jr.? Like, this seemed like not the only shot, but the best shot for OBJ. And the reason why I say that is I look at teams that are playoff teams, the AFC teams. You could see some teams that I looked at the Titans like, hey, they could sign OBJ, but I look at them and I go, do they really think that they're going to beat either the Chiefs or the Bills and make that move? I look at the NFC teams being more like, I could see the Bucks doing it. I mean, they got nothing to lose. Vikings, I don't really see doing it. Eagles, I don't really see doing it. Niners, I mean, they could now with the Debo injury, depending on how long that keeps him out for. That looked like a pretty serious injury that happened in the Bucks-Niners game, but I look at this and I go, this is not good news for Odell Beckham Jr. This almost seemed like hey, this is my best shot to play this year right now. And if the news came out like we talked about last week of, hey, he's not going to be ready right away, he might not even be ready when we need him, it's going to be, obviously it's going to be a wait and see. We might get to the playoffs and weird things happen and boom, a team signs OBJ like, hey, we got 2 games left, we need you, sign you, get you out there. But this is not good for OBJ. I'm going to say this prediction. OBJ does not play an NFL game this season. Not putting my life savings on it, but that's how I feel right now. I don't think he's going to play because if the Cowboys were worried about your medicals, I don't think any other team, there's no other team that's going to take that risk. The Cowboys were going to be the team to take that risk, and if they're not going to do it, I just don't see anyone else doing it. Now, the T.Y. Hilton Cowboy thing, I say he'll be fine. How big of a role will he be asked for? He's not just going to step right back in and boom, be primetime T.Y. Hilton. But I think that if he can step in, give them the deep ball threat and give him some of the speed that he was known for with the Colts, he'll be fine. Dak Prescott will find him the ball. But let me know what you guys think down below. First off, Cowboy fans, how excited are you for this? I know you probably are. You got your wide receiver help. But also, guys, let me know what you guys think about OBJ. Will he play this year? Who's going to sign him? Does he not play this year? Let me know what you guys think down below in that comment section. All right, and let's move on into the big meat and potatoes of today's show. The next 2 stories, both involving the NBA. And before we get into them, I have a quote as from now, pretty much now until February, we're in trade season. There's going to be a lot of trade rumors coming out. We kind of talked a little bit last week, the Kyle Kuzma stuff, everyone freaking out. I'm sorry, Bulls fans, I freaked out too a little bit, but Zach LaVine is not going to the Knicks as of right now, so we can kind of let out a exhale of relief. But there's going to be a lot of trade rumor stuff that we talk about on the show, and I wanted to start off with a quote from Bleacher Report. This is from Eric Pincus at Bleacher Report, and here's what it says, and I quote, "Some are obvious if you look at the bottom of the standings. Among the league's worst teams, league sources believe the Detroit Pistons may be open to trading shooter Bojan Bogdanovic. The Orlando Magic are expected to shop Gary Harris, Terrence Ross, and Mo Bamba, and the San Antonio Spurs, Jakob Poeltl, Josh Richardson, and Doug McDermott, and the Houston Rockets, Eric Gordon, may part with veterans. The market will determine prices, but the names shouldn't be a surprise." And the little disclaimer I want to put before both of these is we're going to be talking, like I said, trade rumors, a lot on the show from now probably until the trade deadline in February. I might even have extra videos that maybe there's something I want to talk about that I can't fit into a show. Trade rumors, we're in trade season right now for the NBA. It's a great time of the year. This and draft are the best. And 2 teams I kind of wanted to focus on today. The first one being a team that I have talked about with my friends, my NBA friends, and that is the Sacramento Kings. And the reason why I wanted to talk about the Kings is the question of, are the Kings going to be buyers at the trade deadline? This is something that I've said for weeks where it's like, depending on where the Kings are, are they going to be sellers or are they going to be buyers? Because the whole reason this came up for me is, as a Bulls fan, I was asked by one of my buddies, hey, who the hell's going to trade for Coby White? And first off, I said one person I would love to get. Kings fans, don't worry. I know this is not going to happen. But I would love to get Malik Monk. And I'm like, I would trade Coby White and a pick. Maybe Coby White, somebody else, and a pick to get Malik Monk, because you look at the standings, they play similar minutes, and Malik Monk just does what Coby White doesn't do. He's a better, actually, he's not even a better Coby White. He's just better across the floor. Here, take my trash can. I'll put a first-round pick on top, and you can give me something that's not garbage. However, I know that's not going to happen. It's looking more and more like the Kings are going to be buyers, as they are going to be in the playoff hunt in a deep Western Conference. And really the question is, if the Kings are buyers, who are they going to add? Doing research, looking at all the different rumors that people are talking about, there's 3 names that keep popping up in relation to the Kings. The first one, Kyle Kuzma of the Washington Wizards. He's got $13 million 2 year. That's what he's looking at. 13 a year, 2 years left. Then you have 2 players from the Toronto Raptors. OG Anunoby, $17.3 million a year. He's got 3 years left on his deal. And then Pascal Siakam, or if you're an old-time watcher of the channel, Pascal C-Scam, is $35.4 million a year, 2-year deal. Here's my thought on these 3 before I get in hypotheticals of how these could work. Kyle Kuzma, I do like, yes, he's on the list because everyone keeps talking about him. There's going to be Kyle Kuzma rumors. However, as I've said, and I'll pin it up here or something, it'll pop up above me. As I've said before on a Ricky Widmer show, I just don't feel like the Wizards are going to trade Kyle Kuzma right now, because if I pull up the standings just on the fly here in the NBA, as of recording this on the 13th, I'm recording this on Tuesday, this is going to be, the Wizards are 10 games back. They're 2 games out of the play-in. So the Wizards, I will say, there's an opening to trade Kyle Kuzma. They don't have to do it this year, though. Like I said, he is under contract for another year after this. So you don't have to trade him this year. You can say, hey, we'll keep him, try to build in the offseason, and then, hey, if we have to trade him next year, we will. That being said, you look at the other 2 names, and I think the best option, or the one that, if the Kings are going to be a buyer, and these are the only 3 targets, now more targets could come out, but if these are the only 3 targets we're looking at right now, I think the best one, or the most reasonable one to get, would be OG Anunoby. However, I don't think the Kings could get any of these 3 in a trade. I'll tell you why. Here's the main part of it. Kyle Kuzma and OG Anunoby, the salaries are doable. 13 a year for Kyle Kuzma, 17.3 for OG Anunoby. Pascal C-Scam, or Pascal Siakam, I'm writing off right away, because that 30, I don't think that the Kings would be able to get to that 35.4. Even adding a third team in, they would still have to give up $35.4 million. And the big question is, I know that a lot of Kings blogs that I've been seeing have thrown the names of Holmes around. They've thrown Terrence Davis around. There's ones that have said, oh, Davion Mitchell could be in a deal. I think that if you're getting a Pascal Siakam, then you have to include Harrison Barnes in that deal. His $18 million a year has to be a part of that. It's probably going to be a deal for Pascal of Harrison Barnes, Barnes and Holmes to get you, let's see, 18.3 plus 11.2. That's going to be about 29.5. You're still sitting there about 10 million off of that even. So I mean, Davion and Terrence could get you close, but are you okay? Pascal Siakam is worth it. Trading Barnes, Holmes, Davis, Mitchell, it'd be worth it. Having Siakam, having Sabonis, that be your front court. You already have De'Aaron Fox, who's been having a phenomenal year. Do you want to do that, though? That's the question. Do you want to do that? The other thing that the Kings do not have that other teams will is they cannot trade. So they can trade future firsts, but they cannot trade a first round pick until 2028 because their first round picks for this year all the way to 2027 are locked up in the Kevin Huerter trade. So the picks that you'd even be giving out are way future picks. We're talking like 6 years, 5 years, no, 7 years, 6, 7 years, maybe even 8, 9, 10 years down the line. First off, do you want to mortgage your future just to add in a guy like Pascal Siakam? Like, the difference is, are we making a title push or are we just doing this to be competitive in the West? That's what you have to think about with the first round picks. But Siakam, I just think the contracts are going to be too high. Then you look at OG and Kyle Kuzma. Like I said, right now, I don't see Kyle Kuzma being on the radar, not radar, but being in the open market. I don't think the Wizards are going to trade him. And OG Anunoby might be your best bet. However, the thing that is going to be interesting here is there are high interest in OG Anunoby from other teams. So is the package that you're going to be able to give up going to be competitive compared to the other teams in the market? The Lakers, the Bucks, the Mavericks. We've seen all these teams, the Suns, like we've seen all these teams in trade rumors so far. Is your package going to be competitive when you can't add in a first round pick until 2028 at the earliest? So it's going to be hard. Like, I do not envy being in the front office and being the GM for the Sacramento Kings right now, because you're going to have to make it. Like, you could stay pat and just say, screw it. We're going to stay pat here. We're going to see what this year brings. But you can also do some trading, because Harrison Barnes too, the reason why I haven't seen a lot of people add him, but the reason why I would include him in a deal is he's up at the end of the year, unless you think Harrison Barnes is going to re-sign with you guys. I mean, Holmes has got 3 years, Terrence Davis 1, and then obviously Davion Mitchell still on that rookie deal. But it'll be interesting to see too if the Kings right now, these are the 3 targets. How does this evolve? Does it move on? Hey, this guy could be into this deal. But Kings fans, let me know what you guys think down below. What do you think about your chances of your team being buyers in the kind of trade deadline this year? And out of these 3, who would you want? Kyle Kuzma, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, or who do you think that you would get? And then also, on top of that, I'm asking a lot of questions here to you, but let's say you get none of these guys. Who's a guy not on this list that you're like, hey, that's who the Kings should go after and we could get in a trade? Like I said, Coby White's available. If you want Coby White, I'll give you Coby White, but, you know, you're going to have to give me you can't give me a pick. So you can just pay for my pop machine for a year and you can have Coby White. That's what I would do. That's how much I want him off this team. But let me know what you guys think down below. The second team we're looking at is the Portland Trailblazers. And this is a team that I will say quite surprising where they are. They are right now, after last night's game, they actually fell. A couple days ago, they were at the 3 seed. However, Western Conference is so close right now. Like, I'm looking at the standings. You have the Pelicans at first. The Grizzlies are a half game behind them. The Nuggets are then 2 games behind the Pelicans. And then right there at from number 3 on, you have the Suns. And so the Suns are a half game behind the Nuggets. And then both the Kings and the Blazers are about a game and a half behind the Nuggets. So, team we just talked about, Kings, they're up here. We're looking at another team in their area, the Portland Trailblazers. A surprise that they are this high. I don't think anyone had them this high in their predictions, but I look at this team and all the rumblings that I see from the Rip City, from Blazer Nation, is we going to trade for a center? We going to get another big man? Because the biggest thing with this team right now is go look at the box score from last night's game against Minnesota. Count how many centers you see in that box score. I'll wait. Spoiler alert. It's one. It's Nurkic. It's the starting center. That's it. And this is a team that is going to be able to possibly get some center help if they need it via a trade. As you look at, so before we even start, when it comes to first round pick situations, the Blazers cannot trade their 2024 first round pick. Reason being, 2023 pick belongs to Devils. So Stepien rule, you can't trade back-to-back picks. 2024 pick right now is locked down. However, there's three names that I'm seeing linked to the Portland Trail Blazers. The first one is Mo Bamba of the Orlando Magic, $10.3 million, 2 years. Jakob Poeltl, $9.3 million, 1 year. However, there is a stipulation that I was seeing that he could sign an extension before the year's over. You go that route, that could be more than 1 year. And then you got the Plum God millionaire, Mason Plumlee, with the Hornets, $9 million for 1 year. First question you need to ask yourself is simply, what are we looking for? Are we looking for a center now I know that from what I was reading before I recorded the show, there was some interest in the offseason with Mo Bamba with Portland. Do you kind of go for that and say, hey, that's what we're going to do? We want a guy that's going to be here for more than 1 year? Or is this just a, hey, you know what? We're going to try to buy a little bit of a rental and see what that goes with? I honestly think that Mo Bamba and Jakob Poeltl are the main two targets. If they lose out on either of those two guys or negotiations go stale there, then we'll see a Plum God millionaire in Mason Plumlee. But I honestly look at the Blazers and I like their position to trade way better than I like the Kings. Because first off, you got access to, now for most of these guys, you're not going to need as many first, like a Mo Bamba, Jakob Poeltl, of Mason Plumlee are going to need way less, if not any, first round picks. They're going to need maybe one or two. Pascal Siakam's going to need a few. Yeah, going to need a few for Pascal Siakam, even OG Anunoby. Like the guys that the Kings are going after, you need first round picks. These guys, you could get away with maybe some good young players and seconds, maybe just one first. But I look at the Blazers and I've got their roster here on Fanspo looking at the trade machine, and you look at it, and if I'm looking at Poeltl and Bamba, 10.3, 9.3, there's definitely guys that you could look to trade. I mean, I know you just signed Gary Payton the second, but he's at 8.3. You got 3 years on him. He's probably not going to be in the deal. But I look at like a Keon Johnson, 2.6, 3 years. So it's like, hey, here's a young guy. You've got Nasir Little, who's 4.1. He's on a 5-year deal. I don't see them trading Justice Winslow unless it's like a, hey, we're not going to re-sign him, so why not just put him in a deal? He's a $4 million deal with 1 year left. And they've just got young guys that maybe a team like Orlando and San Antonio and even Charlotte, these are teams that, hey, we could use young talent to develop. We're not in playoff races. Just the other names, I mean, you've got Greg Brown, who is a 21-year-old. You got Trenton Warford, Dave's guy from LSU, 22-year-old. Jabari Walker, 20-year-old. And then John Butler, 20-year-old. So none of these guys are world beaters, but the Blazers have enough young talent to package something together. I would think that a package would be revolved around either Nasir Little or Keon Johnson, and then throw in the rest of that young talent, any of that in there to see what you can get. You could possibly get a deal without giving up a first-round pick, and that is mind-blowing. Even at the most, maybe a future first. Maybe one future first. Like the Mo Bamba one. But like if you're giving up guys that, I mean, you look at it. Greg Brown, 1 year after this year on his deal. Watford, 2 more years left on his deal. Walker, 2 more years. Butler's the only one that expires at the end of the year, and I'm just looking at Fanspo for this. Yeah, I like what the Blazers could do with this. Mo Bamba or Jakob Poeltl obviously would be the ones that I go after. I would go after a guy that I could either extend or would be here for another year. Plumlee is basically if I lose out on Poeltl, if I lose out on Bamba, that's where I'm going to go. But yeah, Blazer fans, let me know what you guys think down below. Who's the center that you want? Do you want any of these 3, Mo, Poeltl, or Mason Plumgod Millionaire? If there's somebody that I did not mention out of these 3, let me know who the Blazers should trade for. Let me know everything down below in that comment section. Okay. Last story that I have for you guys. I really do not want to talk about this, but I guess I have to, as why did it have to be Purdue? Why? Okay, so Purdue named their new head coach today. It's Illinois defensive coordinator Ryan Walters. And here's my big thing. Why did it have to be Purdue? Why couldn't you have gone anywhere else? Why couldn't you have stayed? Okay, I get why you didn't want to stay with us. I get it. You're a defensive coordinator. You want the big time job. Somebody gave you, but really, Purdue? You left us to go to the enemy? Oh my God. I thought I was so happy too. Last week, I was so happy last week. Oh yeah, they're losing their head coach. Maybe we'll have a, chance to beat them now and go to Big Ten championships. And then I look at who they signed and why Purdue? Why did you have, why? Oh my God. This is not good news for me. Not good news. Great news for a Purdue fan. Bad news for me. Because who's Illinois going to bring it? They're probably going to be fine bringing in someone. I have faith in Brett Bielema, but this is not the news that I wanted to end the show with. I did not want to end the show with my defensive coordinator, one of the big strengths of this Illinois team all season was our defense. Oh, how great is our defense? And now the guy who led that defense is now, hey, bye-bye, I'm going to go to West Lafayette and play against you every year. This ain't good. I mean, the games still have to be played. We could still win, but it's definitely not a win for Illinois fans right now. I'm congratulations, Purdue. You got a great guy. But yeah, why Purdue? Just tell me why. Why? And that's going to do it for the Ricky Widmer Show today. Let me know what you guys think down below in that comment section about anything I talked about today. The T.Y. Hilton OBJ football news, the trade news that we looked at about the Kings and the Trailblazers. Also, Illinois fans, I'm sorry that we lost our defensive coordinator. I still don't know why he chose the Purdue Boilermakers to make our lives maybe hell for the next few years. I think he's signing a 5-year deal, but let us know what you guys think down below about anything we talked about today. I will be back tomorrow with more sports news. Remember, hit that like button. If you liked what you saw today, hit that subscribe button. If you want to, or if you loved it, and if you want to stay notified, ring the bell. Ring the bell if you want to stay notified. Thank you guys for everything that you do each and every day. And as always, have a good day, everybody.